Oh, there he popped up on the bottom.
He has arrived.
He has arrived.
Oh no, he's got glasses on so he can look all professorial.
Looks
Well,
official.
okay, you caught me on that one.
No, put your glasses
Wow,
back
Rick,
on.
you
It's
sure opened a can of worms with
Yeah,
your
Rick.
documentary.
Who knew?
Woo! I can't believe. I mean, everywhere you go on any social media platform, people are either really, really mad about it. They're like, they don't want to hear anything about this. They think it's all a lie.
Oh God!
They want to know who funded it because it's got to be backed by Nazis.
Of course, always.
Or it's like great, but didn't go far enough to expose all of the fraud.
Welcome to the world I've lived in for 30
I mean,
plus
honest
years.
to God,
That's
you
very
can't.
true.
I think it was a great documentary and very eye-opening.
It was wonderful.
And I don't know. In trying to defend you, kept saying, you've got to start somewhere, and it's only a 1 hour documentary. You can't tackle everything.
One of the mantras I live by is perfect is the enemy of good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because too many people think that if you're not doing absolutely everything, then you might as well do nothing at all.
I suppose.
And that's just a dumb way to live.
Yeah. Let's tackle this first one right out of the gate, though, because, I appreciate the idea of so many folks, asking the question, who funded this? That's like in today's world, it's like a primary question. And, and I've seen, there are some out there just manic over this with this idea of, hey, you can't believe anything this says because he's not saying who funded this. So you can't believe it. Forget the 9,000 sources in the damn thing. Okay. Yeah. And so this is just also, guys, this is a kind of sign of our times. It has surprised me both on our production team and with funders who are like, look, what you're describing is really important and people don't believe it. They don't want to hear it, but it's very true. You should work on it, and I will help you to this degree, right? And they'll make some contribution into making this work. And but they're just like, look, dude, I'm not looking for credit because I'm just going to get doxxed, right?
Yep.
Right.
And while we were working on this, of course, there was the Melissa Hortman assassination and that of her husband. And with that came along, a lot of my team, even on honest to God, I didn't really fully appreciate this until we were preparing credits. They all just came up, and I mean, to a person, they were like, dude, this is like the most important thing I've ever worked on in my life. And these are decades-long experienced people. Most important thing I've ever worked on, don't seek a credit. Don't need the doxing, don't need the threats, and that's where we are in this world today. So I would say, before you use all that as a reason to discredit the work, right? Look at the sourcing, do some of your own. And it's not that there aren't counter, what do they call them? Alternative facts. There are some alternative facts out there, sure. But this is, and frankly, just from a, personal investment point of view, I mean, for me, it was like a year that just to get it all going. And,
Yep.
And I thought it was worth it, and I still do.
I think you're right.
I will tell you this on this show, which has been on the air now, about a year, two, something like that, year and a half.
What
our show here?
What show?
This show has been on for about a year and a half, hasn't it?
13 more like,
years?
but
You mean the podcast?
Yes.
13 years.
No, I'm talking about this version of it that we moved in here.
No, it's only been like 2 months.
Just a couple months.
That's what I said a couple months ago.
All right.
But in any case,
I didn't know.
the most listened to episode we've ever done is your episode. Thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was great. People loved it.
The YouTube video that you were on got an order of magnitude more viewers than usual.
Yep.
We love it. So how long did you actually have to work on this project?
It's been 2 years, buddy.
2 years.
Technically, it'll be 2 years and 2 weeks. It'll be 2 years.
I want you to do me a favor. If I ever, come across a job that, pays me really well again, could you find me a $220 million building that I can buy for $6 million?
I'm sure there's plenty out there.
Holy God.
Oh my God.
I saw that. Like, oh God.
I mean, how are they thinking that those facts and figures, which are obtainable if you dig deep enough on, empty office space is empty office space. It doesn't, it's not campaign headquarters for anybody. How does that anger? Why is it angering people to see what is actually happening? Why does it make them so angry?
There is I want to say there is a culture of denialism.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's also don't upset anybody. There's a lot of that here, and I am certainly not doing anything to upset people. I'm doing this to just say, hey, look over here. Do you see what's happening? Do you see what's happening? Because this doesn't end well, if and it might not. I mean, the public maybe, I don't know. I honestly don't know, despite all the time. I don't know where the public's going to settle on this thing. I don't know. Where do they want to be? Will they denialism themselves into a, laissez-faire, whatever will be? Or will it really get some folks to sit up and go, no, seriously, something's up here, something's wrong, and dig into it deeper?
Because I feel like you've got about 4 or 5 more documentaries that you could easily do on the state of Minnesota. I mean,
it's true.
Just the fraud cases are just staggering. I mean, the fraud is anywhere between $2 and $10 billion. They have it's been going on for decades. It's been exposed, but nobody in government has done a thing about it.
When the U.S. attorney comes out and says, we have an epidemic of fraud. That makes you, and that was, to be clear, that was an acting U.S. attorney under the team that was under Biden, just because everybody's ready to be like, oh yeah, well that's political, we got to be able to discern, okay, it can also be political. It could be, whatever, but it's not what it is it's a game.
What's so great about it for me, Rick, is the fact that I, grew up just about a mile and a half out of downtown Minneapolis, up in North Minneapolis, and very young age started to go down there and did throughout my teen years and then my early 20s and all the rest of it. So for me, as a person who spent most of his life in downtown Minneapolis until I was about 30, to look at what has happened to downtown, because when I was a little boy, a teenager, early 20s, mid 20s, it was heaven going downtown. There were great restaurants and tons of movie theaters, and there were, of course, stages putting plays on and all the rest of it. It was always clean. That's the one thing I noticed going to other towns. So, God, Minneapolis, St. Paul is a lot cleaner than it is here. I mean, it was a wonderful place to be. And now it's just gone. It's not there anymore. That's sad.
It's got it's got its share of challenges. If I didn't believe that it was under there somewhere, I really wouldn't waste my time. I truly wouldn't. But and that's my, that's my prayer. I mean, we're going to keep producing stories here over the next several weeks. We've got several in the that are ready to go and underway. And there's more. There's still more to it that we want folks to understand, both as it relates to the outcome here and what's still actively happening.
Right.
Rick, is a lot of that part of how tolerant we are with evildoers?
Well, I really do believe that the reality is it's much more denialism. There's much more. There's not acceptance of the fact, that there's an evildoer, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, it was a wrong turn. It was a maybe. It was a. It's a. There's a lot of, and that whole culture of don't upset anybody, and again, not the objective, but some folks should really think about what's happening in a meaningful way. I'm seeing you got like a ticker here of folks
Yep.
on the side.
Yeah, people say there's no problem in downtown or the nicer neighborhoods of Minneapolis, so therefore there's no issues. But you see it all the time: the begging, drug use, harassment.
Oh yeah. What's the thing? It's like some of these
Challenges?
people are like, they live on the 50th floor in the nicest part of town.
Yeah.
And, their outings consist of going to Whole Foods or, visiting relatives over in their $5 million mansions. But so they're like, well, they don't see anything.
Yeah.
So you must just be crazy because, well, if I'm not seeing it, then it's not real.
Mm-hmm. Right,
And
right.
insult to injury. So we know all of this fraud's going on. Businesses are not coming into Minnesota, which is not going to be helpful because businesses pay a lot of tax in Minnesota, right?
Yes.
What'd you say? It was almost up to 10% for a business tax?
10% for business taxes, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I think it was around 10%.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be like a corporate tax we're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're talking about.
And
Let's see here.
So we just all are seeing
Yes,
the stories.
9.8%.
We're all seeing the stories about how all of a sudden the property tax is going to be increased by 10%.
Oh yeah.
Because Hennepin County and cities within Hennepin County are also raising taxes because we have to cover all of this deficit and
Yep, all the
fraud
money lost.
somehow.
Yeah, it's that's true. I was talking to a buddy of mine this morning who was saying that he was talking with one of the other city managers in our county, who was just talking about exactly this, that they were trying to, that there's so much extra taxation essentially on these other towns that aren't in Minneapolis, right there, but they're in the county, and
Right.
all of them get tapped to help cover what the city needs. That's always been the case, but the messaging is that they need more, and that these other communities have to start coughing up that money directly. And it's just and this is in an environment where there's just not a lot of agreement in what the challenge is, which is frustrating.
So if the city residents of Minneapolis wake up and vote differently, how long does it take to turn Minneapolis St. Paul around?
Well, folks like Jim Rubin have been out talking quite a bit with media lately. He was asked this on another program here in just the last day or so. And his point of view, and he's got a lot of business enterprise. He's not going to sell it all at a loss. So it's going to take him longer than he likes, but he's already moved his family out of the state, and he's going back and forth. But he's saying, no, that his belief is that should there be, a new direction for the city, that it would turn things around quickly. That's his belief in this regard, and I don't have a lot of insight. That's not my area of expertise, but that is something that I have heard through this effort.
Okay.
It's just so amazing to me that it's so obvious the people who are causing all the problems, but nobody wants to focus on those people. And I don't understand. I mean, growing up where I grew up, there were some evildoers. There's some really good people. There are a lot of, but we all knew who the bad people were. And I'm sorry, but you can't come to my house if you're going to be that kind.
Well, like Rick said, people just don't deny that they exist at all. It's not that they see these people
True.
being evil and they're like, good, I like evil.
Right.
They just act as if those people don't exist, period. So therefore, you saying that we need to solve this problem is you just being a ranting lunatic because you're saying we need to solve a problem that doesn't exist at all.
Sure. I don't know. I was received. I could not believe that that day after we watched it, I hopped on social media and it was blowing up because of you, pal. I'll tell you that. Social media was huge.
It has been it's been remarkable. I mean, in the performance in the broadcast side of this, we won that hour.
Oh yeah,
by a good margin, and it takes a little while longer to get all of the numbers from the outstate and out of state stations that we're carrying.
Mhm.
But here in the cities, it performed had very high demand. Very high demand, and the YouTube channels closing in on 300,000 views there, and this has been. It hasn't. Has it been a week? I'm sure. No. I went downstairs this morning and I was like, "Oh my God, it's Tuesday." That would have been like my fifth guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a blur. Mm-hmm.
It is very important, though. I mean, what you do and what people in your business do is very, very important. And I hope everyone does understand we need what you did, covering everything. There are so many things that are going down the wrong rabbit holes and all the rest of it. It's just your job is very, very important. Obviously, look at like you said, 300,000 people. We had thousands and thousands and thousands of people listen to that very first episode, and they really didn't even know what you were going to talk about. And once they found out what it was about, boy, did they all tune in and started listening to that. So it's very important what you're doing, because does anybody else doing what you're doing? Not that I know of.
Well, there's people trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people trying. I mean, Bill Glahn is a journalist that's been uncovering a lot of the fraud in Minnesota, and Liz Collin, obviously,
Liz does a great job.
Yeah, there are people that are trying, but we do live in sort of an echo chamber. I even saw a few people criticize that KSTP was carrying it because Stan Hubbard is a Nazi.
Oh, yes. I wasn't aware of that.
Yep, that's how people are.
Oh, see, the reason why was I mean, they will reach for anything to be in denial. Yeah. Anything.
Well, I think some of it is absolutely denial. So I mean, I haven't thought about it like this until just now, but I mean, if you think about the reception, I mean, there is a group that just doesn't believe it. Okay. There's a group that understands what's happening, is really for it. And instead of rallying for it, the game is, kill the competition in terms of the narrative. Right. Sure. And then there are those who see it, and call it out for what it is. That's how I've seen this coming together. In other words, even I think some of the naysayers are just true naysayers, and some of them are folks who really want this direction, and see this as the way of getting it. And I don't know what to do with that, frankly.
Well, I think one of the problems that I have with people is that I brought it up at the very beginning of the interview. $220 million building was sold for $6 million. I checked it out. That absolutely is accurate. They lost $214 million on that building. People do not believe that's true. But I did the research. It's 100% true.
They can do a Google search and verify it for themselves. They don't need to believe, they can verify.
I keep wandering back to your ticker here with all these all these folks. It is my eyes were open to the Twin Cities DSA. OMG.
Democratic Socialist Party. Yep.
There are a lot of personal stories.
Oh yeah. Pretty much all of our viewers have some sort of story about how they used to go to Minneapolis all the time, and then They just start going less and less, and now a lot of them don't go in at all. Maybe once or twice a year tops.
Well, it's interesting because ever since, I think it was Rybeck, who all of a sudden said that loitering was not a thing, and that people had the right to just hang around and do whatever they wanted downtown, including harassing people, selling drugs, doing drugs on this, in the business corridor. And that's a long time ago.
I don't even know who Rybeck is.
Yeah,
that's how long ago that was.
Something that happened. A lot of people think, oh, COVID did it. It's like this has been in the works for a long time in Minnesota. Yep. This isn't anything new, really. Mm-hmm. It just accelerated. COVID accelerated everything.
Mm-hmm. It did.
Agree with that?
And we had a whole other, it was like not just a 1-2 punch, but it was a 1-2-3, is COVID, all the stuff around George Floyd, and then all the rioting that followed that.
Yeah.
That was an unusual scenario. Really nationally. And, I saw a statement the other day from someone I knew a lot better a while ago. I have a lot of respect for her. She's in St. Paul and has just a great heart and caring for the community, and has been a community organizer and all this kind of thing for a long time. And she was just looking at the situation, and she says, I see it. The story, it does trouble me. There's just so much complexity to what's happened here. And, I was true. There is a lot of complexity to it. There is. And even with the inner workings of, these three kind of events, for lack of a better term, that we were dealing with in 2020. But at the end of the day, we've got to distill, what's happening, and do we recognize it as a challenge? Do we recognize it as something to save, for lack of a better term, to improve upon? And, what do we want to do about it? That's where this goes.
We had someone who just texted in. He said, Souchere just had the owner of Mint Properties on yesterday. And he said the business is leaving the state because there's just too much crime, and they can't manage these properties anymore.
I think, they say that he's the only one in the family left? The rest of the family's already gone?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, and then he goes back and forth, and eventually he's just going to leave too.
Yep, that's how things are going.
This Minneapolis was such a wonderful place to live and grow up, and
Someone in the chat, the gunfight on Nicollet and 19th was crazy. There was just another gunfight on Nicollet.
Yep.
Was there?
Well,
which one do you mean?
Yeah, which one does he mean for real? Because there are multiple. There were two on camera in our project there, and there have been others. And one of the things, that are I had gotten my hands on that security video that had 65 shots in 48 seconds was the deal. The first time I heard that, I'm like, I don't even know how to count this. I don't know how to do this. And I got it to some forensic audio analysis people that helped us out with that. And then there was a reference. Another producer comes in with, hey, this same area also got this situation, and they worked that into the program. And they were like, but the security cameras couldn't capture that because of exactly where it was out of line of sight of the security cameras. But 3 days later, there was another one that was, it's not funny, but it's like, holy hell, this is this intersection, 19th and Nicollet, is a various, it's a very serious situation. This has been a primary location for drug dealing and, gun toting for a long time. And you guys might remember, initially we had this in the hour, but it got edited out just because of all the other stuff we were trying to get in. But there's a guy from 19th and Nicollet in one of Jim's apartments who ended up all over, like particularly Fox News had him up, and he was talking about, I got a daughter, and he says, I know now just by sound how many blocks away the gunfire is.
Oh, God.
jeez.
Yeah.
And
How
this
do you
was
live
just this
like that?
summer,
It's a war zone.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, it's extraordinary. And the reality with the police, as defunded as they are, and as fractional as they are, which goes with that, um, they're challenged. And I know they are aware of all of these things, and they're trying to prioritize it with, essentially half of what was their plan for 2025 in terms of number of officers. Half.
Right.
God.
We've talked to community leaders in North Minneapolis, and they all, most of them say there's usually about 20 people, and they all belong to the same families, and they're the ones causing most of the problems, and nobody will do anything about it. And you have to wonder why.
Mhm.
What is, I mean, they're afraid of racial profiling and being called racist, but everybody else needs to be held hostage to these few people that are the most violent. Um, make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How do you come up with that is the solution, is to do nothing and have people just move away and live in war zones and be afraid? I mean, most people don't want to live with gunfire on the
No.
streets.
No, they don't.
No, but they believe that the reason it's happening is because the guns are there. The guns are, if you take away the guns, then these violent people will stop being violent.
Well, then it'll just be like the UK where stabbings go up 1,000%. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something.
But they don't believe that.
Oh, okay.
Rick, as a news guy looking at all this stuff, I mean, Catherine and I been together for about 45 years now, been married for 41 years. We spent most of our time in 3 cities. That would be Minneapolis, well, 4, because Minneapolis and St. Paul, Chicago, and New York. I don't know of one of those places that I'd go for a walk after dark downtown anymore. I just don't think you can anymore, can you?
It's pretty tricky. I mean, it's,
Where
I
you
mean,
are.
it's, certainly, Chicago has absolutely had its challenges in this regard. I mean,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
there over the 4th of July, not this summer, but the summer before. And it was, there were like 17 people shot and several killed on the July 4th weekend,
God.
Just,
Oh,
Yep.
lots.
Oh,
Yep.
makes me sad. Like I said, to have grown up in the most violent neighborhood in the state of Minnesota, it wasn't anywhere near this violent. It wasn't even close.
Well, I believe that we've reached a point where there's this narrative out there about how everybody who's oppressed is morally superior.
Right. They can't do anything wrong unless someone makes
yeah.
them do something wrong.
And if somebody says something that hurts your feelings or makes you feel bad about anything, then they're the oppressor, and the oppressors must be put down. And if you're always operating on this, I'm morally superior because I am for the oppressed, even though maybe they are oppressed, maybe they're not. Maybe this is just what they want to do with their lives. I don't know. But they'll turn to the education system is oppressing these people. That's why they act like this, is because they're oppressed. And it's all because of you, older white guys. You're the problem.
Uncle Tom.
Yeah, you're not to be trusted. You're awful unless you're on our side of politics. It's turned into this tunnel vision that is, it's cognitive dissonance, it's denial, and it's also a moral issue to them. And that's, I think, why they can't see any other side of the story without thinking that it must be wrong, or you must be a Nazi, or you're a Nazi. Who's a Nazi? I mean, they're throwing that Nazi word around constantly. It's almost like it's cultish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of scary. It's real scary to me that people can be that blinded by this moral narrative that's not even true.
I think they should drop Nazi for a suppressive person.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just the way that they talk. You can tell that they actually believe it.
Mm-hmm.
It is
They
really
do.
sad.
I want to ask you guys a question. When was there a particular fact in that that got your attention most of all?
Oh, for me, it was the city council that we are, that all of Minneapolis is basically just a little Marxist playground.
I've known that for a while, unfortunately.
I mean, I knew, but I didn't know that only 5 to 7 members run the show. I didn't know that they had that much power. I really didn't. I mean, I knew the city council has a different charter than most states, right? Where they seem to have more power as an entity in Minneapolis and Hennepin County than most other states, right?
I don't honestly know the answer to that. I know that in the last few years, there was the public vote that it was for two things. One was to defund the police, which the public said no.
Right.
And the other was to strengthen the office of the mayor, which the public said yes.
Okay. All right. So
even with that being reality, okay, he can still be overridden by 9 votes.
By 9 votes.
By 9 votes. And what we found in that work was that the 9 members would align. I say align with that. They literally were making the same votes with the DSA members.
Right.
69% of the time, which is a majority. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you get a in our city council, you win a vote with 7 of 13 people, right?
Yeah. Right.
And you have superpower majority at 9.
At
And
9.
9 number was still 69% alignment.
Right. That was surprising to me. That really surprised me. How about you, Tom?
Oh yeah, no, there's no question about it. This whole thing, all of it is about votes. All of it. You behave however you want, as long as you vote for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it looks to me. Is just these people. As long as you're going to vote me and keep me in office, you can go ahead and shoot anybody you want. I don't care.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of terrible looking at it that way, but that's what it appears to be to me, is that you can do whatever you want as long as you vote my way. It's like, oh, that's right. So you can make more money, but we're getting killed in the streets while you're making more money.
Well, I'm a very numbers focused person in matters like this.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was that the number of dollars lost over the years that's what stood out to me the most.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, you can't
mean that are leaving the state of Minnesota?
Yeah, exactly. The loss, the net negative.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's because you can't deny it. It's a dollar that was here and is now not.
Right.
There's no way to explain it away any other way. Someone was here, they were paying taxes, and then they decided to leave. And when that happens in the tens of billions, that suggests that there is some sort of problem other than people just on a whim deciding, I think I'm going to move to another state for no reason at all.
I wish I could remember where I read a story that the only people that are coming into Minneapolis are people that make under $25,000 a year.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that kind of reporting as well. And it's been, there's been it's a very empathetic, and kind of empathic approach to come here and let us help you, right? And
Right.
And that is there is a value in that, and that is really Minnesotan. I mean, this goes back to post-Vietnam, the Hmong population coming into the Twin Cities in particular, and more Hmong people in the Twin Cities than as a what's the word? There's no greater concentration of Hmong people anywhere on earth, including Laos, where they're
Right.
amazing. But just the concentration, they're all very concentrated there, and that's a community that has really, I think, over time, worked diligently toward integration, with this society.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that that's true with all that we see on this migration path, and it's just like, okay, how do we do it? When you look at we haven't done any reporting directly, just what I've read, in town here on the fraud issues around, feed our future. That is a dramatic ongoing, theft. It's been, again, the U.S. attorney acting U.S. attorney saying that we're at a pandemic level with this,
Right.
an epidemic level. So they're gnarly things to get our hands around, and it really starts with prioritization, and okay, what has to happen first? Okay, what has to happen second? It's really that kind of thing. Andy, you're the younger person in this crowd by a bit of a.
Speaking.
What's that?
Relatively speaking.
Relatively speaking, yes. I'm kind of curious. So you picked up definitely on the net negative migration of wealth and humans. Like I think we talked about this maybe even last time I was on, this idea that for a long time people leave here and they go to Florida and they go to Texas and they go to Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But now it's 500 million on the most recent 3 years on record in dollars migration to Wisconsin. It's also negative. That's Wisconsin. Just 500 million
people. I know 3 people that moved to their cabins in Wisconsin.
Yep.
They're done.
One of my buddies, he lives on the eastern side of the metro. He's a retired firefighter, great guy. I've known forever. And he called up when he saw all this stuff happening, and he's like, he says, we haven't talked in a while, I know. He says, but we're gonna send you out something here pretty soon because we're leaving. I'm like, where are you going? And he's like, we're gonna go to Wisconsin. They're already almost there. Really, you could walk there from their place, right? There's like, no, we can't.
What's the thing? If you live in the Twin Cities area, Wisconsin is an hour drive away. Mm-hmm. It's not exactly difficult to get there. No. And it's so similar to Minnesota, you might not even notice you've left, except for things.
Your commute.
Yeah, except for, the commute, I suppose. I would assume you would get a new job if you moved an hour away, but I guess not everyone needs to do that. Doesn't Michael Bryant commute like 2 hours one way every day or something?
Not
insane.
Anymore. He used to, but I
mean,
most people have a hybrid work situation, so they do come into Minnesota a lot of times. They've kept their jobs, but they also stay away the amount of days that they need to stay away,
right? So
that they don't have to pay taxes here,
right? Mm-hmm. Well, Rick, we got to keep having you on. So whenever you feel like popping on, please do it, because this is going to happen. All over the United States. Yeah. They're going to have to do what you did in Minnesota. So you may as well be the guy doing it all around the United States.
These conversations have to be held, and people's eyes have to be opened. And I mean, all you can do is give it a good team try.
Yeah. We have a very interesting question from the chat for Rick. Quick. Mm-hmm. Ask Rick if he ever had a condo at Edgewater in Breezy Point on Pelican Lake.
No, but better. I had friends who had a condo.
There you go.
Is there a reason he would have asked that? Because I have no idea what he just asked.
Maybe he saw him up there. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
I love it. I love it. That's a great one. I didn't, but I know people who did.
Well, there you go. And this isn't just some random weirdo. This is this person who's in the chat all the time. So
there you go.
Yeah, he must have.
Yeah, probably just saw him up there.
Chad in the chat. Have you? Yeah. Oh, he met you there as a kid, apparently.
Oh.
Look at that.
Oh, okay then.
You're on a free deal, and these kids are all excited about you being on a free deal. That's good. No question. But Rick, stay in touch with us, please. We'd love to have you on whenever you get a chance. Yeah. They're always great conversations, and they're always about hopefully helping to solve things some way or another. That's why I just love having you on. I love having you on this week because you talked about things nobody else wants to talk about.
Well, God love you. I appreciate you and your whole family here. Honestly, it's just you're a great asset to this state and to the cities, and glad you're here. And glad you're doing at least part of your time in the Twin Cities area.
Well,
this
and
show
for
and
another day.
Say again?
For another day,
Yeah.
because you guys are
Yeah,
leaving
there
the
you
state and
Yeah, we're rolling out of here
on
Thursday.
Thursday morning.
What I would do if I were you, I'll close with this. You need to come down and go on Palm Beach Island
Yeah.
because there's a guy that just bought 4 houses. He's tearing them all down to build $1 billion house.
That's insanity.
And you just drive around down there and go, how do these people have this
See, if I had
money?
that kind of money, I'd keep the houses and I'd put like a little like Mr. Rogers railway between them.
Yeah, there you go.
So I could just visit a different house every day and
like
I
it.
don't know.
take the train to my other
I know
house.
one gets dusty and you just take the train to the next one.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
I don't
You,
know.
you have a cleaning crew
I don't know
come
how it
in.
works.
They can clean it for a week, and then you take the train back to it.
I
See?
can't even imagine having to own enough possessions to fill up $1 billion house.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
That's just like
How much crap do
I
you
wouldn't
need?
want to have that much stuff.
Rick, thank you so much for your time again, and we'll be reaching out to you. And anytime you need anything, just reach out to us, obviously, because it just was such a nice situation. What you said about a week ago, something like that.
The 23rd was
Change
it?
of pace.
It was a
So it
while.
was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday. Yeah, it was the 23rd, I believe, was that
23rd.
episode.
But
Or the
I think
24th,
I
maybe.
think this is going to wake a lot of people up because a lot of people don't want to believe. But when you can show them, and I always go back to the $220 million building that sold for $6 million.
I know, it's insane.
That's how it goes.
Oh, Dave in the chat. Oh, Rick, I teach driver's ed, and until last year, we used your DWI segment from 2006. It's got longevity in it.
You're a hero.
Oh my gosh. I remember trying to recruit you for that. We did a party, Tom. I know you guys got to go, and I got to go too, but this is funny. I saw that. Dave, thank you very much. This is hysterical. My poor kids had to go through that same training in school with their peers. The way, back in the day, we would always try to promote the stories we were working on by going around to the radio shows. The radio shows were rocking, and we'd be yours on a few times. And so when we were putting this one together on drunk driving and just how, people just, they lose track of how they're feeling. And the thing is about drinking too much. As soon as you get to the too much level, you're like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I can drive. So anyway, what we did was we threw a party at my residence at the time, and we invited in all the morning show people. You couldn't come, but there were a ton that were there, and they went through it, and it was state troopers that were the bartenders.
Oh.
And they were giving people, tests along the way. And we had cars for everybody picked up and brought, so no risk of anybody driving. But it was a mind-blowing piece. And the folks like Dave, that has been in the schools for, Jesus, that is a long time. That was 2006. That was almost 20 years.
Yeah.
06.
That's crazy.
Almost
All right,
20
sir,
years.
We'll be reaching out soon again. And if you ever need any airtime, you're always welcome, man. We love having you on.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Great
Behave.
work, Rick.
Thank you. Have a good one now.